everybody. It is your girl, Davone'a Tashae, founder of the Excellence Academy and some other things. But if you're watching this, it's because you want some inside information as you prepare for time management and interviews, salary negotiation, career confidence, something along those lines. This video is salary questions during the interview, and I will do some role play with you. All right, I'll probably title this here, Let's Talk Money, salary questions during the interview. I will be both the candidate as well as the interviewee. Okay, so y'all bear with me. Y'all ready for these acting skills? 3, 2, 1. Interviewer, what are your salary expectations for this role? Candidate, very confident yet calmly will respond, great question. Before I share a number, I'd love to understand more about the full compensation package and the responsibilities tied to the role. There, it's showing thought. So you're putting it back in their square. Did you ever play Foursquare growing up? Men, maybe not. Ladies, did y'all? And so you'd have to throw the ball. I really don't remember the concept of four squares. I just know there was 4 squares and you have to throw the ball. I don't know, maybe you have to catch it or like it bounced out or something, you were out. I don't recall. Nevertheless, look, they threw the ball to you, all right, with their question on what are your salary expectations? You caught the ball and then you returned it to them with, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. But before we get into my expectations, I'm just curious about the full compensation package and the responsibilities that are tied to the role. What? That's a double whammy. That said, based on my research and scope of this position, I'm targeting a range between X and Y, depending on benefits and advanced opportunities. Or excuse me, that is your response to whatever they shared with you. Here he goes with his toys in the background. So that's your response to whatever they shared with you. Or let's say they tell you their salary, the salary that they're offering. I'm just going to use the real life. Well, actually, we didn't talk about salaries during the interview. But for example, real life, I'm asking them, hey, what is your benefit, your compensation package, and the responsibilities tied to the role? And let's say they conjure up a response like, calling all go-getters out there. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Davone'a Tashae, and I'm interested in learning, do you want to become a 5-star executive administrative assistant or even a program manager? Well, I have the course for you, y'all. I'm taking over a decade of military as well as private sector experience in the world of program management and executive assisting, putting it in a course and delivering it to you. I can't guarantee you a job, but I can guarantee you top performer and that you are going to stand out. You hear me? To learn more about this course, visit www.davoneatashae.com or going to www.davoneatashae.com and submitting an inquiry on the site. While you're there, if you're interested in learning more about me or how you can become a guest on this podcast, or I join your podcast, you invite me over to speak, you know what I'm saying? Then you can also use that same site. I look forward to speaking to you continuously. Walk in the blessings that are honored to you, and take care. I'll talk to you later. Well, we've budgeted from anywhere between $85,000 to $95,000, and the responsibilities tied to the role are fill in the blank. Construction, budget, resource advisor, program management, calendar management, trip planning, voucher processing, case filing, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. And then, thank you for that response in that information. Based off of my previous experience as well as some market research, the current salary range in your location or in this location with those roles that you've mentioned is blah, blah, blah. Or you can word it like this. Thank you for that information. Based on some research that I conducted, or, you can say I conducted, but I mean, it kind of infers that you conducted it. Based on some research, the salary in that locality with those responsibilities at this pay rate during this calendar year is between 95,000 and 110,000. Based on my decade plus of experience, or with a decade plus of experience coupled with whatever else that you may have to offer, right? So with a decade of experience coupled with my skills in forming interpersonal relationships and bridging the gaps between multiple corporations, my preferred or my desired salary is
calling all go-getters out there. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Davone'a Tashae, and I'm interested in learning, do you want to become a 5-star executive administrative assistant or even a program manager? Well, I have the course for you, y'all. I'm taking over a decade of military as well as private sector experience in the world of program management and executive assisting, putting it in a course and delivering it to you. I can't guarantee you a job, but I can guarantee you top performer and that you are going to stand out. You hear me? To learn more about this course, visit www.davoneatashae.com or going to www.davoneatashae.com and submitting an inquiry on the site. While you're there, if you're interested in learning more about me or how you can become a guest on this podcast, or I join your podcast, you invite me over to speak, you know what I'm saying? Then you can also use that same site. I look forward to speaking to you continuously. Walk in the blessings that are honored to you, and take care. I'll talk to you later.
blah, 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 right? Something along those lines. Nobody, not right now. No Scooby-Doo. Okay. So this is scene number 2. When you bring it up, okay. Scene number 2. So when you bring it up, all right, this is me right now. So I'm really aligned with the mission and responsibilities of this role. At this stage, could you share the salary range the company has budgeted? Instead of me saying maybe the missions and responsibilities, I would outline what those missions and responsibilities are. Show that you've done the research. So let's say their mission is to open doors, of ensuring that all of the doorknobs are functioning. I'm really in alignment with opening doors and sharing the responsibility of ensuring that we have all active doorknobs with the proper bolts and screws. I am curious what you all budgeted, or the salary that you all budgeted for in this fiscal year or this calendar year or this up and coming fiscal year, this up and coming calendar year. The interviewer may reply with something like,
calling all go-getters out there. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Davone'a Tashae, and I'm interested in learning, do you want to become a 5-star executive administrative assistant or even a program manager? Well, I have the course for you, y'all. I'm taking over a decade of military as well as private sector experience in the world of program management and executive assisting, putting it in a course and delivering it to you. I can't guarantee you a job, but I can guarantee you top performer and that you are going to stand out. You hear me? To learn more about this course, visit www.davoneatashae.com or going to www.davoneatashae.com and submitting an inquiry on the site. While you're there, if you're interested in learning more about me or how you can become a guest on this podcast, or I join your podcast, you invite me over to speak, you know what I'm saying? Then you can also use that same site. I look forward to speaking to you continuously. Walk in the blessings that are honored to you, and take care. I'll talk to you later.
But we are flexible depending on experience. And then this is your potential response. Okay, that makes sense. And based on my experience in this industry, as well as the research that I conducted in the current market, I'm looking for something in $100,000 to $115,000. Does this align with your expectations? I don't really like I'm looking for. What else can we say? I'm like looking at my notes. Based on my market research experience, really what I said earlier, based on my market research experience and list out a characteristic or two, right? Time management, how much time you're going to give back to the business, how you're forward thinking, your attention to detail, how much money you were able to save your previous clientele, leader, company, institute, if you were doing something in the financial realm, something along those lines. Making sure you're bolstering and bragging, right? You're highlighting. You won't have to use the word bragging, but I do speak about bragging in another salary negotiation video. Being able to pinpoint the value that you bring to the team. You are an asset, not a liability. They are going to earn more time back, more money, more clientele, expanded network. They are going to create business partnerships, et cetera, something along those lines by bringing you on. So with that, you need the proper compensation. That's where you say, oh, thank you for that information based on my experience and in the past successfully executing a $4.5 million program or the management of a $4.5 million program. My preferred salary is, or the desired salary is the salary that I would recommend, or all of the things, right? Figuring out a way to wrap up the value that you bring, and then the little bow on the top is, and this is what I'm worth. Well, I said this before. It's not what you're worth, because you can't put a dollar amount on your value, baby. You're priceless. However, Kami, you get what I'm saying? Something that I've done when preparing for an interview is I look at, of course, the business, see what information I can find, if there's anything online, see if I can find something about the CEO or whomever the principal is, if you're looking or if you're interviewing for that virtual assistant position, that executive support specialist, or that executive administrator, executive assistant, et cetera, et cetera. Looking to see what is their name, so that when you're getting interviewed, of course, the boss is the one, well, I shouldn't say of course, potentially they are. But if you're interviewing for a position with Tyler Perry, is Tyler Perry on the hiring panel? Maybe he's listening in, but is he the one necessarily asking you the question? I don't know. I haven't interviewed with him or for him. Okay. But let's just pretend like he isn't. But you've done the research and you know that it's his institute. I don't know his business name, but it's his business. Oh, well, Mr. Perry, with my skill set, Mr. Perry will have more time to spend with his family through my seamless calendar management, something along those lines. It makes you stand out. Two, I listen to who's interviewing. I've been on different panels, both in person, virtually, as well as just over the phone, so audio, and I will hear, because normally people will go, hey, I am Mr. Frankel. And I'm like, oh, thank you for that question, Mr. Frankel. Blah, 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 blah. Answer is very personable. It shows that you're paying attention, right? Especially if it's an audio, they don't see you taking notes. And then even if it's visual, asking, may I take notes? If it's in person, asking if you may take notes. If it's in person, ensuring that you're working the room, working the panel, working whomever is sitting in front of you. If this person asks a question, thank you for that question, Mr. Black. I would a value, or not a value, but one of my leadership traits is da 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 da, and then da 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 and da da da, and then going back. And that's the example that I have for that leadership trait. But I just worked the room. I don't know, maybe it was a panel of like 4 people, right? I started here, I worked my way around, but then I went back here and I ended with that person. What's another one? Oh, doing the research and seeing what questions, like I'm interviewing for an IT position. What are the common interview questions? People are always going to ask you, tell me something about you. Please do not go telling them, well, this is where I'm from. I've had somebody talk about all the divorces that he's been through, some other experiences, right? We don't need all of that detail. What you want to do is tailor your answer to whatever the position is. You want to tell them how you will fulfill that role from your experiences or something along those lines. Yes, have some character. Yes, have some humor. If you're a person who has like a I can't think of the word right now. I was going to say gregarious, but that's not it. A personality. And so there's nothing wrong with showing you. Don't go in like a robot. However, comma, still be professional and tell them so. Tell me a little bit about yourself. That is a phenomenal question. I am an active leader in my community, or I am an out front leader. I am a what are they called? Let's say a transactional leader, right? I'm a transactional. Tell me a little bit about yourself. That's a great question. I am. Why am I sitting over here getting dumbfounded? Okay, this is what happens when you don't prepare for the interview. If you don't, so that's going to be my recommendation, is that you consider the questions that they're going to ask. You jot down the answers that you have, and then you prepare yourself by reviewing those answers and giving those answers and having people randomly call you and ask you questions. But tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, that's a great question. I guess I would say something like this. I'm from California, just relocated to the East Coast as I pursue higher education as well as career opportunities. I am an out in front leader, and I take pleasure in organization and thinking ahead and being able to have an answer before it's asked. Well, I just told them a couple of things about me. You know what I'm saying? And although I'm interviewing for a support role, the fact that I mentioned leadership, then that can potentially drop a seed in there for future management positions or some kind of training related to management, something along those lines. So I will wrap it up by saying this here. Remember, you are interviewing them too. So asking about salary early is not rude, it's just strategic. Also read the room. Maybe they're a little, you don't really know about them. Okay, new toy. Maybe they're a little tooty. Okay, well then don't pose the question. Wait for the offer and then go into the salary negotiation portion. Maybe it's not appropriate at that time to discuss it. And then finally, if they ask you, do you have any questions? Question is, when can candidates expect a call back? Have something, okay? I also like knowing the previous person that was in this role, what was one strength and then one area of growth that you would have preferred to see, or how did they bring value to the team, something along those lines. Because if it's not a brand new business and you are potentially, and if it's not a new position, then you are potentially someone's successor. So you want to ask questions about your predecessor. That's the person that was there before you. Not necessarily about them, but simply put, the individual that is vacating the position, or my predecessor, right? Go ahead and speak it as if you've been hired. Just curious about my predecessor and some of the values that they brought to the team, so I can ensure that there's no lapse in our transition. Oh my gosh, what?
Calling all go-getters out there. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Davone'a Tashae, and I'm interested in learning, do you want to become a 5-star executive administrative assistant or even a program manager? Well, I have the course for you, y'all. I'm taking over a decade of military as well as private sector experience in the world of program management and executive assisting, putting it in a course and delivering it to you. I can't guarantee you a job, but I can guarantee you top performer and that you are going to stand out. You hear me? To learn more about this this course, visit www.davoneatashae.com or going to www.davoneatashae.com and submitting an inquiry on the site. While you're there, if you're interested in learning more about me or how you can become a guest on this podcast, or I join your podcast, you invite me over to speak, you know what I'm saying? Then you can also use that same site. I look forward to speaking to you continuously. Walk in the blessings that are honored to you, and take care. I'll talk to you later.
And that's, baby, if you're interested in joining and excelling in all of your endeavors, especially as you prepare for whatever the interview is. I help people prepare for job interviews. I help people prepare for panel interviews. I help people prepare in the service for transitional interviews where they're going from the worker bee to management to leadership. Listen, this is over a decade of experience traveling the US, multiple mentors, coaches, all sorts of people I've met. I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people. You can spin around on the chair. I got you. I'm your girl. I got you. So there are 3 different tiers of learning within the Excellence Academy. Tier 1 is an ebook and 2 special gifts for you. Tier 2 is everything that's in Tier 1 plus some fillable PDFs. This is so rude. Hey, no. And then tier, includes some pre-recorded content. It's actually the information that I provide in tier 3, which is the live course. You will receive everything in tier 1 and tier 2 should you invest in tier 3, as well as I give a bonus discussion all centered around salary negotiations. So if you're interested, you can visit the site by going to davoneatashae.myshopify.com, and you can find that information also in the banner here on the screen. You can also come to Instagram, if I have not changed the handle, by searching at Excellence by Davone'a Tashae. And I look forward to working with you, supporting you, mentoring you, coaching you, all of the yous. And let's say we don't work together, you can still subscribe here to this YouTube channel for future content, free information, and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Okay, that means to share. Like if this video was of some value to you, please forgive the distraction, aka my dog, and ensure that you click the bell so that you will receive notifications in the future next time that I upload something. So until then, take care. Bye.